went to school with the intent to get a job, to put in work, to get paid. So when I did something for someone, they gave me money in return. Now, I left my job on Wall Street. What do I do every day I wake up? Doing what I do with Amplify. What do I do?
You teach people about money.
Okay.
And how to use it.
Okay, so, but why do I teach people about money?
Because you're passionate about this.
Well, but how do I know this will even work? Why I could,
you don't know that.
I could teach basket weaving. Why teach finance?
Because I don't know this one. It's important in everyone's life.
Okay, so it's important in everyone's life. Do you think that everyone makes it important in their life?
No, definitely.
So we think that's an issue in our country?
Absolutely.
So
addressing an issue.
we have a problem. People are not learning about money. Therefore, we as people cannot progress financially. Right. So I decided, to hell with this job. Let me go fix this problem in this world, change the minds of millions and millions and millions of people, because I no longer want to work and get paid. I want to figure out how to get paid by fixing a world problem. So, one's an entrepreneur, one's an employee. I think what the woman did with her child is, you work, I give you money, you pay bills, that's it. She never gave her the opportunity to find a problem in the world that she can dedicate her entire being to solve. Now, for me, I also realized that I would never have the wealth that I wanted to have in my family by working on Wall Street. And every client that I served, that we worked with at our company, had millions and billions of dollars, and none of them did what I did. They didn't have 401ks, they gave 401ks. They didn't get a paycheck, they issued paychecks. So I realized that if I wanted to be on the other end of the table, I needed to change this game that I was playing. And I realized they all created something. And so I'm not saying that it is bad to be an employee. I'm not saying it is bad or better to be an entrepreneur, because who am I to say either when I've been both? And to be honest, it's a lot easier to have a job. But I can say that I do love what I do. But I think by training our kids, you do chores, you get paid. You wash dishes, I give you money. Oh, you don't wash dishes, you get punished. You don't get money. That's the same way a job operates. So psychologically, we are training our kids to always work for money. But what about actually creating a program, doing a class one time, and then offering it to the world, and while she's sleeping, the world decides to buy her class? Ashley's now no longer working for money. What she worked for is now paying her for the rest of her life. That is what builds wealth. Not saying that you can't build wealth having a job, but you're limited with that opportunity. And it's not to discredit anybody again with the job, but why not let that 5-year-old have the opportunity to even think creatively without, one of the hardest things that people do not know. People always say, I don't want a boss, I don't want a boss. One of the easiest things about a job, you show up, they tell you what you gotta do, you get it done. When I wake up, I have to decide what to do, but how do I know if that's right or wrong? How do I know if I focus on middle school students? Oh, maybe I should focus on high school. No. Let's focus on the parents. Right. And that's but when you're talking to a visionary, I can do anything I put my mind to. So how do I know what comes first, second, third? If I had somebody tell me, I actually would love for somebody to tell me what is the next step. But when you're trying to create something that's never been done, there is no blueprint to what. Think about Jay-Z or Steve Jobs. There was no blueprint that Steve Jobs could follow to build Apple.
Blueprint, it was with Jay-Z.
Oh no.
But go ahead. No.
So in this case, who's to say he had to go left, he had to go right, and he found his path because his destination never changed. But at the same time, it's
even when it failed.
Right.
Just as a note, because he did fail in there.
As we have our iPhones now.
Right. And he made it.
Right.
But go ahead.
But I just think before we even give a child the opportunity to create something amazing, or to use their capabilities or their creativity and their work ethic to create something and create their own money, we're already telling them, you do this job, you get paid. So now a child, going back to my Wall Street, now this daughter thinks, I go to school, I get a job, I get all my money, I pay all these bills, and nothing is left over for me. And psychologically, we grow up thinking these things. I mean, even if you go back to 400 years of slavery, I mean, like 400 years ago, back when we were slaves, those same principles, the lack of us the lack of belief we have in ourselves, what we do not know, what we do not believe, is because of what was embedded in our minds that now we pass on from our child to the next child to the next child. So we have habits and thoughts in our mind and doubts in our mind because what is instilled in our mind continuously by the media, what has been rooted back from this crazy guy named Willie Lynch, who now psychologically we believe certain things just because we were born into it. And now we have to literally reprogram who we are to change the direction of us as a culture. And I think, I'm not saying that giving allowance is bad, but why not ask your child, okay, the house is a mess. What do you think should be cleaned first? Okay, tell me why. And by this being clean, what will be the results of it?
Yeah,
okay, now how often do you think it should be clean? Now your child is forced to think. That's the one thing I realize about my kids. Kids in schools are not taught to think. Like we can't think. So now you put them in the middle of nowhere. We don't know how to survive. Now we're talking about us being slaves, or we figured out how to survive. But we're not given that opportunity anymore because everybody's telling us what to do. We go to school to get a job, we get a job to pay for school. That is how society is designed. And in order for us to change that, we got to understand how this game is played. Once we know how the game is played, we can change the game.
Amen to that. Amen to that.